Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's today's takes with Alex, and I am your host, Alex. Today we're talking about a theme that the upcoming week's Parsha discusses. It's important to understand that this is a long time practice. It's been around for a while. It's been ruled as asur by God. Asur means forbidden, okay? And we're going to explain why. Everyone looks for a easy way to obtain, but the easy ways, I guess, cause they force you to give something up, and so we're going to get into the topic of the prohibition of not drinking blood. Okay? It's not Halloween, but we are discussing in this week's Parsha, and it's something that, I guess conspiracy theorists have brought to the table. It's something that we see in our pop culture come up a lot. It's referenced throughout movies and music, and I guess people in high status, talk about it and stuff. But we're talking about it today. So shalom, friends, and welcome to this exploration of one of the Torah's most emphatic and repeated prohibitions: the command to not consume blood. God says, don't eat kosher don't eat non-kosher things, maybe once or twice, right? Like some things he only commands once. Some things, the Sabbath is repeated, right? The prohibition to not consume blood is repeated. So it's because the allure is strong. The practice is one that is alluring. So, appearing multiple times throughout the Torah, this commandment is stated with unusual intensity and carries deep spiritual significance. Far from being a mere dietary rule, it touches on the sanctity of life, the nature of atonement, the refinement of the human soul, and our relationship with the Creator. Today, we'll examine the biblical sources, the explanations offered by classical commentators like Ramban and Rambam, and the insightful perspectives from Hasidic teachings, including those highlighted in Chabad sources. We'll see how this ancient prohibition continues to guide us toward greater holiness, compassion, and spiritual elevation. Let's approach the topic with respect and an open mind. The most detailed statement of the prohibition appears in Parshas Acharei Mot in Leviticus. And any man of the house of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn among them, who eats any blood, I will set my face against the soul who eats the blood, and I will cut him off from among his people. For the soul of the flesh is in the blood, and I have therefore given it to you to be placed upon the altar, to atone for your sins. For it is the blood that atones for the soul. Therefore I said to the children of Israel, none of you shall eat blood. The Torah repeats this prohibition several times. In Genesis, after the flood, in Leviticus, and then again in Deuteronomy, underscoring its importance. The core reason is given explicitly: the life, the nephesh, the part of our soul, right? The animating force of the physical, of the flesh is in the blood. Blood is not ordinary matter. It embodies the vital life force of the creature. Because of this, God reserves blood for a sacred purpose, to be placed upon the altar as part of the sacrificial system, where it effects atonement for the soul, right? With the animal offerings. The blood belongs to God and serves as the vehicle for reconciliation between the sinner and the Creator. Consuming it would misuse something holy and dedicated to a higher spiritual function. Classical commentators offer rich layers of understanding. Nachmanides, the Ramban, explains that blood represents the life force itself. Since all souls ultimately belong to God, a human soul should not consume the soul of another living being. He also notes that eating blood introduces density and coarseness into the human soul, making it more animal-like and less refined. What we consume becomes part of us, and blood, which binds quickly to our essence, carries a unique spiritual weight. Rambam, Maimonides, emphasizes the historical and moral context. In ancient times, surrounding cultures often consumed blood as part of idolatrous or magical practices, believing it allowed communion with spirits or granted supernatural powers. The Torah's strict ban distances the Jewish people and God-fearing people of all walks of life from these pagan customs and their associated cruelty. They use your life source and make you decay faster. So by drinking the blood, right, you are enhancing your own being, right? And it's like drugs, right? And eventually it runs out, right? And so in order to get back to that high, to that level, you need to consume more and more. Well, they're not drinking animal blood. Okay? So it forces you to sacrifice more and more. The Sefer Hinuch adds that the prohibition instills discipline and cultivates compassion. By refraining from something so primal, we train ourselves to rise above raw, animalistic impulses and develop a more refined, holy character. The repeated warnings in the Torah highlight how strongly we must guard against even the appearance of consuming blood, teaching vigilance in matters of holiness. In practice, this mitzvah is observed today through the detailed laws of kosher slaughter and salting meat to remove blood, ensuring that only the permitted flesh is eaten while the life force is treated with reverence. Hasidic teachings, particularly as developed in Chabad, uncover a beautiful inner dimension. The Lubavitcher Rebbe explains that blood symbolizes passion and emotional heat, the vital fire within a person. Just as the Torah forbids consuming the blood of an animal, it teaches us not to pour our inner emotional energy into purely material or self-centered pleasures, even when those pleasures are technically permitted. The verse in Deuteronomy says, "Only be strong not to eat the blood." The Rebbe interprets this as a call to direct our heat, our enthusiasm, desire, and our passion exclusively toward holiness and divine service. Even in everyday activities like eating meat, which the Torah permits, we were warned not to invest excessive emotional attachment or excitement into the material aspect. Instead, that vital energy should be poured out like blood on the altar, offered upward to God. This is high level stuff here. This transforms the prohibition from a simple don't into a positive spiritual directive. Channel your life force toward what is eternal and holy. In this way, every act of restraint becomes an opportunity to elevate the soul and make the physical world a dwelling place for the divine. So what does this commandment teach us in daily life? It reminds us of the profound sanctity of all life. By treating blood, the carrier of life, with reverence, we cultivate sensitivity to the value of every living being and, ultimately, to human life created in God's image. It encourages us to approach food and physical pleasures with mindfulness rather than impulsiveness. On a deeper level, it calls us to examine where we direct our own life force, our time, energy, emotions, and passions. Are we investing them in what is lasting and holy, or allowing them to be scattered on what is fleeting? The prohibition against blood becomes a weekly or daily reminder during kosher preparation to infuse even ordinary acts with intention and holiness. Kosher preparation could be, anything, that falls within our divine service, right? Preparing our minds, our hearts, and our actions, right? In Hasidic thought, this aligns with the broader goal of refining the soul and elevating the sparks of divinity hidden in the material world. Ultimately, the spiritual significance of not consuming blood lies in its call to holiness and balance. and not taking advantage of the weak and those that are defenseless. It teaches us that life is sacred, that certain things are reserved for a higher purpose, and that we have the power and responsibility to direct our vital energies toward what is good, compassionate, and connected to God. In a world that often blurs boundaries between the sacred and the ordinary, this commandment invites us to live with greater awareness, discipline, and spiritual purpose. The Torah's prohibition against consuming blood is a powerful expression of Judaism and spiritualities and God's directive and mission for us, right? For reverence for life and its vision of a refined, holy people that inhabit the earth. It reminds us that even in our physical existence, we are called to elevate rather than consume the vital forces around us. If this explanation spoke to you, and if you had a hard time believing that, this practice happens, the Torah doesn't repeat it because it doesn't happen. Okay? So share in the comments. What aspect of this commandment resonates most with you? The sanctity of life, the call to direct passion toward holiness, or the cultivation of compassion? How do you see its lessons applying in modern life? So, if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more thoughtful journeys through spiritual teachings, God's commandments, and divine wisdom. Thank you for watching. May we be blessed. May we all merit to direct our life force toward holiness and bring more light and compassion into the world. Everyone, good luck on your journeys. Good luck in the upcoming week. Be blessed. Be successful. Okay, let's get things moving here. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.